Mick Cronin had a very busy offseason for UCLA, adding a ton of talent with a total of 8 newcomers. This is the 25th best newcomer class in the country, highlighted by the 36th best freshman class and the 10th best transfer class. And this is a really good transfer class with multiple high upside transfers, which we'll talk about at the end. Dominic Harris is a 6'3" wing that's from Loyola Marymount. He averaged 14.3 points, 3.3 rebounds, and shot 44.8% on 6 attempted threes per game last season. He is just an elite shooter. He shoots at a high volume and he shoots a high percentage. He can be really good off of movement, but even better off of standstill threes. So he has a pretty quick release and a little bit of a narrow stance, but really a lot of his game revolves around him being able to knock down these long three-pointers, and he does it at a high level. There isn't a ton of off-the-bounce game to him, and he isn't really looking to get downhill offensively, but the shooting is so good that it just doesn't matter. Defensively, I don't think he's like a lockdown defender or anything, but he does fight and just does a solid enough job on there. And I'm really interested to see if he's in more of just kind of this three-point shooting role at UCLA. All right, so let's take a look at one of the plays from Dominic Harris. So he's going to be in the corner over here. And so you're going to see him run off of this kind of wiper action. So what that is he's going to come off of a cross screen, immediately turn around and go back. And so he's just reading his defender. His defender's going over the top of the screen, so then he realizes, all right, I'm just going to get back out to the three-point line and not let my defender kind of cheat their way through. And so now as that happens, he's going to float back out to this corner. And this is where I think it's a little hard to see because there's defenders in the way, but he has a bit of a narrower stance and it is very pointed. So I think kind of catching the ball like this, where eventually his left foot's going to be like the inside foot, that kind of allows him to get these shots up quicker. And then from there, he just has a really good stroke. If you are enjoying, please like and subscribe, as I'm going to have these for all 18 Big Ten teams throughout the summer. Next up is William Kyle, a 6'9" center who's going to be a junior from South Dakota State. He averaged 13.1 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 1.6 blocks per game in 27 minutes a game. To me, he kind of feels like this 4 body with a 5 type game. And so what I mean by that is he's pretty mobile, he moves really well, but he wants to work in the post. He wants to work at the rim, and that's kind of where he's best at. So he does a lot of work with his back to the basket on offense, just getting the ball in the post. He's comfortable going over either hand and can kind of just work his way that way. And then he's also comfortable as a roller, and I think that relates back to him just being able to move pretty well in general. Like he's a really athletic dude that can kind of just be able to get to his spots because of that. Now he's a little bit undersized at 6'9", 230, maybe for a center spot, but the athleticism might make up for it. I think he's a solid rim protector, although I would love to see him more in a secondary rim protector role. I think he could thrive next to a stretch 5. All right, so let's take a look here from a play from him from this season. So he's going to be here on this block, and as the ball kind of swings around, he's going to get it then in the block, right? Just like he normally does. Now on this one, he decides to catch and just go right away. And so he's looking to kind of catch his defender off guard, spin, get baseline. When the defender stops, like he does there, now it's going to turn into a little bit more of that kind of traditional post up, back down. And now this is where I think right in there is where just the real big upside from him comes out. So he's going to get here. Defender does a good job, honestly, of blocking him. So he's just going to spin back baseline and then basically up and under. And that last part right there is where the athleticism comes in, just quickly rises up and dunks the ball. Kobe Johnson is a 6'6" wing from USC. He averaged 10.9 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 3.3 assists in 31 minutes a game. Now, Kobe Johnson kind of had to do a bit of everything for USC last year. I think he's a very good perimeter defender, and with just such quick hands, he had one of the highest steal rates for an individual in the entire country last season. And so I think he fits in well right away defensively. Offensively, he makes the right read a good bit, and when he's in terms of facilitating, he also isn't going to necessarily create a ton of shots for others. He isn't a great shooter, but he did have to take a lot of tough shots, which kind of tanked the percentage a little bit. If he can be in a little bit less usage of a roll, you can maybe see those numbers go up a little bit. In pick and roll and stuff, he doesn't get downhill a ton, although he is comfortable running them. I think he's kind of just loose with the ball, and that allows defenders to poke in a little bit and be able to strip the ball. But he can just kind of do a little bit of everything at this point, and maybe a little bit of a reduction in roll could be very beneficial for him. All right, so let's take a look at a play from Kobe Johnson here. So he's going to be with the ball up top, And so as he's getting the ball, he's going to kind of refuse this screen from the pick and roll and then get downhill. And that's what Kobe Johnson kind of wants to do, is operate in this mid-range area, kind of the three-point top of the key area. And so Kobe Johnson, he just kind of understands what the defense is going to give him, and he takes it. And so here on the drive, he's going to see, okay, this defender is providing help at the nail right here, kind of digging in off of one pass away. And so what that is, it's not like a crazy difficult pass or anything like that, but it's the correct read. It's, okay, this is what the defense is giving me. I'm just going to kick it out to my guy on the perimeter, get him an open look, which he knocks down. Trent Perry is a 6'4" point guard from Westlake, California. He averaged 18.7 points, 6.0 assists, and 6.2 rebounds a game last year during his senior season of high school. He is a skilled passer. You're not going to find many, if any, better passers from this incoming freshman class than him. He's able to kind of manipulate the defense and really move it to get shots that he wants, both for himself and then also for others. And that's just going to be his biggest skill translating from day one, is his ability to create shots for others. I think himself, he has a pretty good shot, although it is a little bit of a slower release. He's comfortable off the dribble. He can work, catch, and shoot off ball if he needs it. The biggest area I want to see him improve is on the drives. I think there is kind of a lackluster there. And I can't overstate the feel that he has with the passing and how confident I think it will translate. So on this clip right here from Trent Perry, we're just going to be looking at his ability to read the defense and then facilitate the ball. So he's going to bring the ball up, right? He's going to have it up here, right at half court. And so it's going to be this drag screen right here. And this defender is going to be at the level, kind of putting two on the ball. And so what that means is, especially with the big rolling, that's going to put a lot of pressure on this defender. And that's who Trent Perry is reading. And so, okay, now he's going to see there's help from the strong side corner digging in, and then he has his player in the corner lifting. So he knows, okay, if this guy digs in, I'm just going to throw it here. If the defender stays, he's going to throw it to roller. Or if there's a rotation here, he knows he has this pin in and a 2-on-1 on the weak side, and he just makes the right read. Okay, defense comes in, I'm going to get it out to my shooter on the wing and let him knock down a shot. Eric Frey is the other freshman a part of this newcomer class. He's a 6'3" shooting guard from Centennial, California, where he averaged 20 points and 7 rebounds a game. Frey is a very, very good shooter, and I think he's going to pair well next to Perry as somebody that doesn't need to play on ball a ton. He can be off ball and then get his shots that way. He has good movement shooting within his form, and I think he's way more comfortable off the catch than off the bounce for right now. I wouldn't mind him getting a little bit of a quicker release, but you could say that about a lot of incoming freshmen. Again, not a ton of drives for him to the rim, and I don't know if I really trust him being able to get to the mid-range shots from day one. He feels like a scorer, not really a facilitator at this point. So he's going to be a guy that I think can be kind of this three-point specialist of sorts with a lot of upside elsewhere. The defense wasn't bad, but I think he was vertical a lot and pretty kind of just relied on his hands a ton. But there's also a very good effort on the boards from him. So this clip right here, we're going to show off some of that movement shooting that Frey does have. And so he's going to be kind of off the screen in this left corner right here, and he's getting this pin down from his teammate right here. And so you're going to see, I think the defense is maybe trying to switch. Either way, his defender gets very much caught on the screen going under and trying to kind of cheat up the gap. And so Frey's just going to kind of, as he catches, flares it back out to this wing. And so then from there, I think it's just good footwork, getting into a shot, and you can see how clean of a look he got right here. And then he's just able to knock it down. Sky Clark is a 6'3", 205-pound combo guard. He played at Louisville last year, where he averaged 13.2 points, 3.1 rebounds, and 3.0 assists a game. With him, there's a good shiftiness as a ball handler. I think this kind of allows him to get downhill. He's pretty stocky. It's at 200 pounds, 6'3", but I think the shiftiness is more important in terms of him being able to get to his look. He does a very, very good job of getting in the paint and then spraying out. But I think he's more efficient, honestly, as an off-ball, more of that two-guard instead of a true point guard. He struggles with turnovers. He forces a lot of stuff, a lot of passes, a lot of drives, and I think the defense is okay at best. The shooting has been up and down. He didn't shoot bad last year, but would like to see the number increase a little bit. I think he's another guy that if he can get into a little bit lower usage of a roll and then just take the smarter shots, that he could actually see a lot of his efficiency improve. This clip right here, I'm going to show some of the off-ball stuff that I was talking about with Sky Clark. So he's going to be right here, give the handoff, and then he's going to float baseline and come off of a pin in eventually. So you can see him here, he kind of gets a back screen, and now he's just flaring out to this weak side corner. His teammate's going to set a pin in here as this ball moves. And so this is where, and now he's just going to be able to get a good look. He's able to get set, get into a shot immediately. And I think just plays like that in general are going to be more beneficial for him. Eric Daly is a 6'8" forward that played at Oklahoma State during his freshman year last year. He averaged 9.3 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 1.5 assists per game. And Daly is just an interesting skill set at his size. He played the center spot last year for Oklahoma State, but that's really not what he is. At 6'8" and just good athleticism, he has the ability to put the ball on the ground and attack closeouts, which isn't super common for somebody his size. I think I buy the shot on open looks from the perimeter. He is at times a little bit of a clunky mover, and I think just a little bit of a slower mover, but the athleticism is really able to make up for a lot of that. He doesn't move the best laterally, but there's still this upside on the perimeter based on his length. And so he's a guy that I don't know what his true position is. He feels kind of like a 4 to me on the defensive end, but on the offensive end, there's just a ton of talent. And he feels like a guy that wasn't used right at OK State, but feels like a very good fit at UCLA. All right, so let's take a look at a play here where Daly is able to get downhill. And so Oklahoma State's actually going to kind of run the Chicago action initially, pin down into a handoff. Initially, the corner guy refuses, so now it turns into more of this kind of weird handoff for Daly. And this is where, Daly, there's two defenders right here. You see the low man peeled over already. But now, since the defender reaches, Daly's able to kind of get into his move. And so it isn't the fastest spin move or anything like that, but at 6'8", 230, there isn't a ton of guys that kind of move like that are able to then create that space. Now he's able to get downhill all the way to the rim. Tyler Belo is a 6'9" junior from Oregon State. He averaged 14.3 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 1.2 assists in 30 minutes a game last year. He is another guy that, along with Daly, just feels like he fits in so well as a forward at UCLA. He is absolutely elite in the mid-range area, and he might have been like the best in the country last year on good volume. He's comfortable in the post, although it is definitely more of kind of this face-up type game. I buy the three-point shot. He needs to be pretty much a completely set shooter, though, from the three-point area specifically. He doesn't create downhill a ton, but he does a good job of, like I said, getting into that mid-range area. On defense, he tries hard, but he isn't the quickest. He feels like a pretty good Big Ten 4 on the defensive end, and I really think he may be one of the more underrated transfers in the conference this year. So this play, we're going to show off some of the footwork and that kind of just touch he has in the mid-range. So you're going to see him, he's going to flash here kind of towards the middle of the zone, and now he's going to get the ball. And so it kind of sets up this one-on-one post up right here, and he's just going to face up. I mean, you see the face up and immediately get downhill. He gets the defender to bite, gets him to jump in the air. Now he's going to get downhill. Now, like I said, he doesn't always get to the rim per se, but he gets to his spot, gets to an area that he's comfortable kind of getting to. Right there, it's putting up the floater and getting it to go. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and click here to see the Purdue Newcomers preview.